Welcome back to America's Forum. The benefits continue to add up for illegals. Several colleges are now granting special privileges to illegal students that aren't available to legal citizens. For example, in Texas, free housing will soon be available for the so-called dreamers attending the University of Texas Pan American. For more on this story, we're pleased to welcome in Gabby Morrongiello, who is a campus correspondent for campusreform.org. And with your permission, I'll just call you Gabby, if that's okay, Gabriella. And also with us, our good friend Ellis Henican, radio TV commentator at Newsmax New York. Gabby, you study what happens on campuses for campusreform.org. How are legal students reacting to the news of special privileges for illegals?
Well, legal students are very much frustrated to see that illegal immigrants are being offered these special benefits and programs. And the good news with this program is that unlike similar programs that have been offered at universities across America, this one isn't taxpayer funded. But at the same time, it's part of a much larger trend, as you mentioned, of colleges and universities across America extending these special benefits and pandering to illegal immigrants.
Now, Gabriella, I hear you, and nobody likes anyone else to get a benefit. We all want benefits, but we don't want other people to get them. But do you understand? I mean, these people are working hard. They're here in the country. They got here through no decision of their own. Why do we want to keep making them feel unwelcome and punish them and try and diss them at every turn? Shouldn't we be welcoming them and saying, hey, we love having you here. Go do a great job like all Americans?
Right. Well, rescinding these benefits and not providing to them that doesn't equate to punishing them. It's just not giving them an upper hand in comparison to legal immigrants and U.S. citizens. And what we need to realize is that by continuing to extend these special benefits and develop these special programs that exclusively benefit illegal immigrants and undocumented students, all that does is encourage prospective illegal immigrants to continue to cross our borders. And that perpetuates the problem, and it leaves everyone worse off, Americans and illegal immigrants who are currently in this country.
And Ellis, just to follow up on the point that you're making, certainly you understand you grew up in Louisiana. Had you chosen to go to LSU, you have been offered in-state tuition. Why on earth do we have university systems granting in-state tuition to people who are not even here legally? The notion of extending special benefits to people who have not followed our laws, it seems to me, for a guy who so often talks about leveling the playing field, this is a fundamental injustice to people who are playing by the rules.
Well, you know what? It's interesting you put it like that, because to me they all just seem like fair benefits, right? If you live in the state, you get in-state tuition. If you don't live in the state, you don't get in-state tuition. What I would wonder from Gabriella is, Gabriella, you seem like a really nice person. I'm sure you're a very generous and warm and decent person. But isn't there something kind of unwelcoming, almost unchristian about not being more hospitable to these people who are struggling to make their place in America?
Well, it's not unchristian whatsoever. What I'm advocating for is, as you mentioned, a level playing field for everybody. But we do not need to be extending special benefits and programs to illegal immigrants. As a student who paid out-of-state tuition myself, it's frustrating to see people who broke our laws and came here illegally benefiting from lower-cost in-state tuition benefits.
And the bottom line, Ellis, to the point, it has been very interesting to see different interpretations of Scripture. For example, the passage that says, welcome the stranger, does not mean welcome the illegal alien. It means welcome the sojourner, someone who's there for a temporary stay. And we might also point out that it's no less Old Testament luminary than Nehemiah, who, of course, followed instructions to build the wall around Jerusalem. So I think there is much we can bring to this, but let's continue with this notion of that somehow it is beneficent and it is charitable to take a group of people who have come here in violation of our laws and not only accommodate them, but incentivize them. Gabby, you've done a lot of research, and I know Ellis is at Newsmax New York. Across the state line in New Jersey at Rutgers, it appears Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, is doing a whole lot to offer a, quote, welcoming environment to people who are here illegally. Do you have some details on that?
Absolutely. The Leadership Institute's campus reform broke a story recently about Rutgers University, as you mentioned, hosting this undocumented students-only admissions fair, and it was titled Undocu Rutgers, which basically sends the message that there should be a boastful tone surrounding illegal immigrants on college campuses. And Rutgers is a public university in New Jersey. This is a taxpayer-funded event, and unfortunately, it's not the only one of its kind. We recently saw California State University Long Beach open up its own illegal immigrant student center. And so it's just another example of accommodating illegal immigrants and putting them above legal immigrants and U.S. citizens. And at Cal State Long Beach, they were even put up above student veterans who are on campus who don't have a center exclusively for them.
My goodness, we're being so unkind here today. We're willing to accommodate all kinds of people, except there's one group that we want to be mean to. And a group, come on, we all understand. They didn't come here on their own. They were little children brought by parents. And education is the future. Education is liberation. How is it that we would feel good about ourselves saying, you go away, you don't come here. If you're going to come here, we're going to be mean to you and make you not feel welcome. Boy, nice people, I don't think behave that way, do they?
We have about a minute left, Gabby. You want to take it first, what Ellis has said about us, impugning our character and outlook?
Absolutely. We need to continue to realize that education is a privilege. It's not a right. And illegal immigrants who come to this country are not entitled to an education, and they don't need to be receiving special benefits and programs. Because, as I mentioned before, what that does is incentivize prospective illegal immigrants to go ahead and come over. They're seeing these special benefits such as free housing at the University of Texas Pan American, this illegal immigrant student center. All that does is encourage them to come over and receive these benefits themselves.
Gabriella Morrongiello from campusreform.org. We thank you very much for your time. And Ellis, the situation is, the irony is, we welcome a lot of students on student visas who play by the rules. We welcome a lot of people who come here legally, and the irony is when you set up a special group for accommodation with a kind of misplaced compassion, you actually tend to bar those who come here legally. But obviously we have more we can talk about, and we do appreciate your point of view as always, Ellis, and of course to Gabby, you have our thanks as well. Now, Ellis gets to maintain his position on the left because a political panel is coming up. A very busy Friday. We're going to make way for a news update and then return with more here on America's Forum.